have y'all been seeing Jaden Daniels' mom, the clips of his mom, like when she had got up and made
Yeah, she tripping, bro.
when she had got up and made Juju Watkins rest hope you go get well song, speedy recovery, Juju Watkins torn ACL in March Madness tourney. But yeah, have y'all one seen that clip where she got in between Juju and Jaden at a basketball game, and then there's another clip where he's at a basketball game courtside. The camera comes, it's like, oh, we got Jaden Daniels in the building tonight, whatever, and he on the phone, and she like, get off your phone, you need to woo woo woo, like you know what I'm saying, woo woo. And I don't know if y'all seen the there's a Netflix series on like just NIL at LSU, and his mom is just talking about like really just like fighting off any and every woman possible, just like trying to be basically be a leech and try to get a hold of him, you know, for his money and so on and so forth, trying to stay far away as possible from the groupies and so forth. Um, What are y'all thoughts on that? Do y'all side with like the mama trying to protect her son, or do y'all feel like at some point you gotta let him be a man, be an athlete,
Pop your
and
titty out his mouth and stop babying him.
KYP.
I don't call it babying. I call it nurture. Right? I think it's one of those things, bro. It's just like you're gonna have to let the boy grow up eventually. Yes, there's vultures and there's swines and there's whores and night walkers everywhere that's gonna entice, bamboozle, swindle, and try to hoodwink our brother in Christ, and all in hopes of the mighty dollar. But come on, mama. If anything, you getting his points real low with them hoes because it's just like, damn, your mama, your bodyguard, protector, enabler, just and I ain't mad at her for doing it. So let me not come off as a hater. Like
yeah,
I it's
I
not so
can
much what you do,
understand you trying to
it's how
protect
you
the
do
bag
it.
for your son.
She seems overbearing, and at the expense of where it done embarrassed him on a couple different occasions, and it's just like, all right, mom, at what point
Who
do we?
publicly clocks blocked their son?
They
I've
should.
heard
First
this.
of all,
Yeah,
Hey,
know who you're
I've
blocking.
heard this narrative. I've heard the narrative of
because that ain't a bum.
not
That's Juju Watkins. She don't need that
Exactly.
nigga
Know who you're
money.
blocking. Like
right.
you're not
Like I
blocking
mean,
some
y'all
some
could. I mean,
She
groupie.
not
they could
blocking like some
produce you a
hood
mean
rat.
grandchild. They could produce you a mean grandchild. You play your
You
cards
talking
right.
about mean grandchild, man?
Probably the grandchild.
But
He the grand of the
but
future.
like talking about her being overbearing is like I've heard the narrative from people to where they say she act like that's her husband and she don't want nobody
Mm.
around him. So I've heard like that standpoint too, which caters to the being overbearing to a degree. Um, but I just for me, I look at it as I understand you protecting your son, that's your motherly instinct, and y'all both trying to navigate what it's now like to be professional athletes, you being his manager and so forth. But my biggest thing is like, where does train up a child in the way he or she should go? Like, what does that come into play where you could trust him when you're not around to be able to navigate through these treacherous waters?
Preach up.
Because
Charleston,
what happens when he get like face to face with somebody who really ain't up to no good, but he don't know how to
And
process,
your ass ain't
synthesize
around, and
it.
that bitch coming.
Like you know what I'm saying? Because like you could what you trying to do,
Baby, you can't.
it
You
could
can only
backfire on you.
save them so
You
much. You can only hold
like
them and
yeah, bro.
bury
It
them
could
and
backfire to the
incubate
point
them so
where
much to where you got to let him experience it, bro. If he
you
fuck
got
up,
to
he
so
fuck
he
up.
can know
You
how
got to
to
let him
navigate
live.
on his own. Like you can't be there every single time. And what's gonna happen is when you is gone, he gonna be so happy to not have you breathing down his neck. He gonna get suckered into some
He
more.
gonna get a bitch pregnant just to spite you.
Yeah. So
And
it's
she
like,
gonna and she
I understand what Mama trying to do, but like you gotta trust him to make those decisions, or like help him go through those growing pains. Because the second you let his hand go and he scrape his knee, I mean, we could have prevented this had you been letting him figure it out from the jump. But yeah, yeah, yeah.
he strike me as somebody
uh,
who, my bad, lot of rapper. Go ahead.
no, no, there's a quote from the famous Charleston White, and I love saying this quote. It's actually a question. It's where the daddy at?
Mm.
Hmm.
what what a daddy at? Oftentimes, if we look at black behavior from the black kids, 9 times out of 10, ain't no black daddy there. Ain't no black male role model there. Or not one that is making enough money, doing enough in life that they want to listen to on the
Mm.
streets, right? So, like, not like these kids don't want to come into the conference rooms, and they don't want to go and do the data analysis, and they don't want to go and be plumbers and electricians. So they and their daddy not sticking around, so they doomed, right? And Poochie, you hit the nail on the head earlier when you said she act like that's her husband. And you could go, bro, TikTok is a whole trend of them that be doing all this
I,
twerking and
I think y'all
kissing
opening the
and
door to a bigger.
dolling up their son and making sure their son flying.
I'm glad you brought that up, Sedacious, bro. That's a great point and a segue into a bigger issue. And just because you open that door, I'm gonna just entertain that from that
Poochie opened
perspective,
that
just
door.
for a
I
second.
really hope the Poochie cracked it.
He
And I can
did.
tell.
You
I heard
walked through
others
it, and
talking
I'm
about
about.
that. I heard other suspicions and like narratives.
Others. I heard others.
So riddle me this though. So in my estimation, I feel like his mother is almost projecting from a personal experience of I've lived that life. I've been the other side of that woman trying to get the star athlete. So I
Mm.
know exactly what she's doing. So
I
that's
know
why
how
I'm
they
so
think.
I'm so protective of my son because I know how much of a
Yep.
scandalous, what I
Skeezer.
was back in the day and how I was going about it and how I was thinking about it. And then not only that, right? I think you also have a mix of like what Sedacious was saying. We have a sad to say, we have a new crop of mothers who, for whatever reason, bro, they base the image of their child as if that child was their man. They dress the child as if not as though they're a child. They dress their child as though is they're the man, and not only a man, but the man that they subconsciously want. So in fact, they think they're raising a man, but what they're doing is they're feeding almost an unhealthy fetish of build a
They're,
nigga.
they're
And I'm
creating
doing that
Mm-hmm.
at the expense of my son.
they're creating parasites because these boys
And
that
them the niggas who get molested early, and then you wondering why they dog women and whoop 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 the whoop, and because
yeah,
niggas don't think they don't think it happened to men. It happens to young boys a lot more often than people think, bro. Women are we love women. I know it's International Women's Month. I get it.
People mess up,
I'm
man.
just saying
People.
yeah,
we
People be
just
messing
call
up.
it
Let me help
spade
you
a
out.
spade, man. Yeah,
yeah.
thank you.
People are people. Yes, sir.
People be messing up, man.
Yes, sir. And so that's what it is. That's what it is. What you said, and she does not want her son to become like another what Jalen Green. Everybody on Jalen Green head about having a baby with a
Yeah,
girl.
she probably see an epidemic in the dumb athlete being tricked and pawned by hussies and hoes from the internet, and she's just like, "I be damned if that be my son," right?
And
So
I
it could
get
just
that and I
strictly be that,
respect that fully.
and I respect that. So it could be that, but it looked like it's just been certain situations to where it's just been like, man, this nigga 24, right?
Bro, because my thing is Lamar Jackson's mom's doing a fine job. Jalen Hurts' mom doing a fine job. Why you decide you just finna come publicly cock block the runaway rookie of the year for real?
Yeah, because you heard endorsements. Now you finna get this nigga endorsed with motherfucking
Trojan.
not Trojan. You gonna have this nigga.
Not Trojan. You right, not Trojan. Plan B's.
Like I was trying to say, man, know your personnel, mama. Like, if you're gonna block, know the difference between a groupie
Yeah, nigga, don't
from
block a
a
blessing, fool. That's
potential, yeah,
Juju
potential
Watkins.
star athlete, a potential, just someone have something going for their own life, like
A
organically,
generational
and
combo guard that
You
has the potential to come in and be arguably a top five WNBA player who ever lived.
you know what I thought was crazy though? Um, Women when they into it, they got this vibe about one another, right? So when her mom comes and sit, the look on Juju's face is like she was not a top 10 athlete. You know what I mean? She looked like a regular
Yeah, she was
girl.
treating her like she was like a
Yeah.
Like
groupie.
a she
She really
damn,
probably
like
wanted to
yo,
be like, Mama, he came and he was really on me.
you try to holler.
Nah, she
He a
probably hit him
fan
with
of
the
me.
Nah, she probably hit him with the
Like, you know I
God
gotta
damn,
deal with
okay.
Nike, right?
Bro, like that's what I'm saying, bro. It's got to be tiers to this. The random
You
chick
know
at the
I'm not
school
broke,
around
right?
the corner, I get that. But like, there's got to be a tier moment where you be like, all right, baby, go handle your business.
If I'm son, I'm going up and I'm moving seats. Yeah, son, hell
I,
that.
bro, a lot of us is mad too, because
Man,
my
if I'm
mama
mama,
showed
I'm
us this
like Juju,
juju.
baby. Let me get your number two while you at
Yeah,
Bro,
baby, you said your mama was sitting up where? Let me go talk to
bro,
her.
she been
Yeah.
trying to get at Juju since she hit the spotlight,
I
right?
said, where
And
your daddy at?
Buddy finna get it. Rookie of the year, bro. We need that. We need that. You tripping,
yeah,
mom? You tripping,
And the
mom?
best of
yeah.
birth the best
He gonna
athlete in
bro.
the next half decade. Man,
Hey
You
man,
blocked your own man.
they future baby may give Bam and Asia a run for
a
their
run for their
I
money.
was just thinking about that.
Nah, for sure. Cause
I
when
was
Bam
just
and
thinking about it.
Asia
That's
had
funny.
that baby, that little nigga gonna feed generations to come.
and you know the baby
My
gonna
boy
be at
Phil gonna be
least
this
six
long.
nine. And
Oh man, that nigga gonna be so cold. I hate him already.
He gonna
Why
run
you
through
think?
fuck.
I hope the Rockets get that nigga.
oh man.